Good morning, and on behalf of Ivy League Executive Director Robin Harris and her staff, welcome to the media and those in attendance to Ivy Madness. We appreciate your support and coverage of our student athletes, coaches, and programs. Our 14th today is third-seeded Penn Quakers. The Quakers come to tomorrow's game versus second-seeded Yale with an overall mark of 12-15, finished the Ivy League regular season with a 9-5 record. Joining me on the stage is head coach Steve Donahue, Jordan Dingle, and Jelani Williams. We'll start with an opening statement from Coach Steve Donahue and then move into questions for the student athletes before finishing up with questions for Coach. Coach, when you're ready, congratulations again for making Ivy Madness, and ready for you.
Great, thanks, Tim. Obviously, we're thrilled. Anybody's more thrilled than the guys in this league to be playing in a postseason tournament. I can't imagine it. Not playing last season, and then just the excitement of playing this year and getting back to this point. And we're 24 hours away from Selection Sunday, so can't imagine it being more exciting for guys this age and things they've dreamed of.
Before we begin for questions for student athletes, just a reminder for media members to please introduce yourself and mention your media outlet. And once again, we're starting for questions for the student athletes first.
Thanks. Jonathan Tannenwald from the Philadelphia Inquirer. Jelani, you're here.
I am.
Took you long. It took you long enough, I know.
Definitely.
How's it feel?
Feels great. I'm excited to be here. It's something that I've dreamed about since I committed to go to school here a couple years back. I've been up to a couple tournaments, Ivy League tournaments, and watched. So I'm excited to get an opportunity to get out there and play and try to accomplish a goal I set out for a while ago. So.
Rob Brown, Ivy Hoops Online. Jordan, you had a phenomenal season, a tremendous 5 or 6 30-plus point games. The second game at Yale was a bit of a challenge. They changed up their defensive look. What are you planning on doing differently tomorrow to get the results of the first game as opposed to the second?
Not really planning on doing anything different. Just going to keep on playing my game, attacking what I need to attack. I think that our team game plan is a little bit different going into tomorrow, so I'm just going to go out there and try to execute it as best as I can, and then just contribute wherever else the team needs me to.
Jordan, how are you doing? It's been a long wait for this moment, for this program, for you personally. How are you feeling?
I feel great. Thank you so much for asking. I'm really excited to be back here. I've been thinking about this moment for a really long time, ever since 2 years ago. I think it was yesterday they announced the cancellation of the tournament. I knew the group that we had and our great coaching staff. I knew that we would end up back here. It was just a matter of time and getting prepared for it. And I think that we've done a really good job doing that. So really excited to be here.
Jelani, will you be at full strength for tomorrow? Will George be available also? And Coach, how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel good. I've gone through my recovery process, some physical therapy stuff, and I've been getting back into the swing of things this week in practice. I feel good, ready to go, and George is also back.
Yeah, he's done COVID, and I'm the least of the worries. Believe me, I'm fine. And what he's been through is, just over the last month, the drop off from our team and the way we were playing, the difference in our defense. There's other things that you just don't see on a stat sheet that enabled us to be at the point. I think we're 8-2 after 10 games and almost the best defensive team in the league as well as the best offensive team. We took a hit. You just don't replace a guy like him that easily, and thrilled to have him back.
Jordan, do you give yourself a clean bill of health at this point?
Absolutely. Ready to go.
Steve, you give him a clean bill of health.
Yeah, no, this team has been through a crazy amount. I think everybody has, but obviously the concussion 2 weeks ago, we lose him, and then obviously Jelani last 4, and then George, and this whole group this season that we threw at them. When we were 3-10, we played 8 quad 1 or quad 2s in our first 11 games, 9 of them away from home. And then, entered the league 3-10. And to me, we're the youngest team in the league by far. We're the most inexperienced team. Never played a college game before. He's one of our veterans. He played 1 year. And to do what they did and to come together, and what I said to them, like, we're here. So it kind of doesn't matter what you did, how you got here, what we did. If anything, the adversity has enabled us to really, if we're 100%, which we're still missing Max Larker-Lloyd, who was our starting center, but all we've been through has enabled us to really understand that we can be good, and we have to do it a certain way, and that's what we're going to try to do this weekend.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Okay. Thank you, guys. We'll let you guys head back and get ready for shoot around.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
We'll give them a second, and we'll continue with questions for Coach. Thank you, guys.
Good job,
We'll see you
fellas.
tomorrow. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep, good luck. We'll continue with questions for Coach.
Hey, Coach. I'm Ishwar Kantamnani. I'm from the Daily Pennsylvanian. I was just wondering, what do you think are some, the keys to victory for tomorrow? And also, what are some particular things you've been emphasizing to your team all week?
Yeah, so I've been virtually emphasizing these things. So I think technology, honestly, was a blessing that we've been through this. I zoomed film, so I clip it up. They see my face on the film. I see them. And then we went through practice. Coach Nat Graham was incredible, and Joe Mahalik and Trey Montgomery. I got to virtually watch it live. I could text them. Those things have made it, a lot better than it used to be. If I had to not see anything, meet with them, they probably enjoyed not seeing me and not hearing my voice. I could still coach it this way. When you play Yale, it's about the physicality. They do such a great job playing two bigs, dominate the glass. Just that's first and foremost. If you don't answer the bell with the physicality, you're going to have a long night. Add to that, they have two great seniors in Gabadon and Swain that are really elite scorers in this league, experienced, older, been through it. That's a huge piece. And the last thing is, we got to execute better than we did at Yale. Jordan obviously had a rougher night there, but it wasn't just that he didn't shoot well. We didn't execute like we can. That being said, we're up with 2 minutes and 30 seconds left in the game, but we got to play a lot better if we're going to win here.
Steve, when this team was 3-10, understanding the schedule that y'all had and everything else, what's going through your mind at that point, and how far away does this day seem?
It was, for all of us, this has been a crazy year. And what I wanted to do with the schedule was give, in particular, Jelani, his 1 year, every possible experience he could. So open up at Florida State, play Arkansas at Arkansas, play 3 games on ESPN against Davidson and Utah State. And it just sounded right. I think 5 minutes into the Florida State game, I was like, this is going to be hard because these kids never played basketball, college basketball. At that point, we had 2, Max Martz and Jordan Dingle. I don't know if Max played that first game. Oh. And then said, Lucas Monroe's your only third guy. At that point, I probably wish I went with 3 non-1s and did it. But when we're 3-10, it's difficult because you're trying to look them in the eye and say, this is going to work out well. We're just stated a plan, and I give this leaders on this program, Lucas and Jelani in particular, to keep the group going forward. And then we lost 2 games, home games again. We played the least amount of home games in the country. We've only played 9 home games. And then we got Brown, who's really good. And that excitement for that game, and I think playing them and beating them enabled the guys to figure out that we can compete in this league. We can do what we're doing, and I don't want to do it again like that. But I do admire the grit and the toughness and the perseverance that this group did at that point.
In the preseason, you talked about the depth of the team as being a real big strength, and obviously with the injuries, that really showed up. Could you talk a little bit about Clark and Michael Moshkovitz and even Bryce Washington, who's kind of come back into the fold the last few weeks?
Yeah, we obviously needed the depth this year. And, we don't talk about Max Lurker-Lloyd. I thought Max was really coming along. And in our league, I think he could have been someone that protected the rim and did a lot of things. And you touched on Clark and maybe having him get thrown into the fire like he did. And we didn't have Jordan for the Arkansas game, and Clark has 25. And those experiences, I think, helped us. You mentioned, who was the other one besides? Yeah, so I didn't know what to expect with Michael. Michael was a COVID recruit. I never saw him in person, never met him. Everything over Zoom. Liked what I saw on the court. I really liked his story. He was part of the Israeli army for 2 years and had a dream of playing college basketball. And got to know him and his folks, and just loved, how much he loved basketball, but he really loved academics and competing in the classroom as well. And I think the biggest surprise is his ability to play through him at the 5, and just we can survive with him, even though he's a little undersized, because he's so tough and skilled and a great defender. And then Bryce is just, that's a product of our program, just someone who's been hurt for 2 years and basically wasn't cleared till late November. And by that point, probably thought other guys were playing better, but to his credit, he was the scout team's best player. Last time we played Yale, he was swaying in practice. And when Jordan went down, we needed someone who could score, and Bryce can do that. And give him credit for long days of seeing no chance of getting on the floor and still being ready to play, which I thought he did the last 2 weekends. And he's someone that we're probably going to need this weekend as well.
Time for 2 more questions.
Steve, how do you assess Jonah Charles' season, speaking of guys who you waited a long time for to finally get the chance to flourish?
I think Jonah, unfortunately, with the COVID, breaks his bone in each foot his freshman year, then has COVID as a sophomore, kind of thrown into there. And I thought he did a good job in the preseason, but then he had a bout with COVID at a bad time, and it took him a while to get back. And by that point, I think others have gotten more comfortable in their roles, like Clark and even Bryce, this last bit. And he's just his first year of college basketball. I think he's going to be really good for us next year, hopefully this weekend as well. And then he has 2 more years of college basketball. But I'm sure he's frustrated in the sense he waited till his junior year to finally play, and it's growing pains that you see in a freshman. He's done some really good things, and he's had some moments where I'm sure he wish he could have played better.
Thanks. Steve, apologies if you already addressed this. I walked in a little bit late, but over the season, with Jelani being able to play for the majority of that season, how did you see his perseverance, his personal traits rub off on the rest of your program?
Yeah, I think that's a huge aspect. I think it's undersold with our success in the league is that we rely on him, and he's never played a college game before this year. He just has a presence about him. The guys respect him so much. They see the work that he puts in, but he holds them accountable in a good way. He holds himself accountable. And I said over the last 4 games, and we had a dramatic fall off, in particular on the defensive end, and it has a lot to do with him. He keeps us connected. He rebounds well, guards multiple positions, and he's just a guy that I think the guys feel really confident when he's in the picture. His story is ridiculous. 5 years of never playing college basketball and still doing it, and then see his hand break in a game. And then, I was in the doctor's appointment when he got we're going to put 2 screws in there, and it's usually, a month to 6 weeks, and the doctor's kind of looking at me like, "Hey, don't expect this kid to play," kind of look. But you don't want to disappoint him. And sure enough, that was, 4 weeks ago today, and he's here. And it just, for me, it's like to watch the journey. He was my first recruit that I literally went to when I got the job 7 years ago. That's where I went to see him, and then to eventually see him on this stage. It's, for me, I'm incredibly grateful, and I hope he plays like lights out because he deserves it.
Thank you, everybody. I need to let Coach get to shoot around. So,
Great.
thank you
Thanks,
all.
guys.
Thanks, Coach. Best of luck tomorrow.
Thank you.